Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're all about boosting profitability in veterinary practices. We've got this in-depth guide here, ready to unearth some really insightful takeaways, those aha moments that get you thinking differently.
Absolutely. And the thing is, it's really eye-opening how many different areas we can actually tweak and optimize for a healthier bottom line. We're not just talking about raising prices here, but a whole lot more about working smarter, not harder.
It's true. It's like this document wants us to see that financial health is the backbone of a thriving practice. It keeps popping up, especially with this 23% benchmark thing. What's that all about?
Yeah, so that's the target EBITDA. Basically, earnings before all those financial deductions, interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. The American Animal Hospital Association recommends aiming for this 23% as a solid indicator of financial health for vet practices.
So it's more than just, are we in the green? It's about ensuring you have enough to reinvest, attract, and keep great staff, and even boost the practice's value, right?
You got it. A healthy EBITDA provides that cushion for unexpected costs, those investments in new equipment, keeping things cutting edge, even making the practice more attractive to potential buyers down the line. It's a win-win.
Makes sense. And speaking of finances, something that really caught my eye in this guide, they claim practices could be missing out on a good chunk of revenue, like 10–15% because of missed charges. Can you believe that? That's a lot of money slipping through the cracks.
It's more common than you'd think, unfortunately. It could be a missed medication charge on an invoice or, those crazy days where you forget to properly document a treatment. All those little things add up quickly. The good news is regular audits of medical records can work wonders.
It's like finding hidden treasure in your own practice.
Yeah.
Now, on that note of maximizing revenue, they mentioned this Profit Defender tool, which sounds fascinating. They're saying it can boost EBITDA by 20% just by tweaking your pricing. Tell me more.
Yeah, so it's not as simple as just raising prices across the board. This tool is about being strategic. It helps you figure out your actual costs, understand the real value you provide, and then adjust your prices accordingly.
I see. So it's more about aligning your prices with the value you bring to the table. They even suggest, and this one seems a bit bold, bumping up prices for like your most popular services every 6 months. I mean, if it's done right.
It can make a real difference. And it's not just about raising prices. They talk about things like charging appropriately for technician appointments because their expertise is valuable. And even adding those small credit card surcharges, those tiny fees can actually eat into profits if you're not careful.
Makes you think twice. Now, while we're on the topic of streamlining, they also dive into inventory management and external labs as key areas to optimize.
Right. They suggest narrowing down your list of vendors. It's easy to get caught up with having tons of vendors and stocking every single product under the sun. But by focusing on fewer vendors and high-margin products.
You free up so much mental space, not to mention physical storage space, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then there's the idea of sending certain lab tests to external labs instead of doing everything in-house. It sounds counterintuitive, but think about it.
Like specializing.
Exactly. These specialized labs often get bulk discounts, so their pricing is more competitive, and it frees up your staff and equipment for other tasks that actually generate revenue.
Smart. Now, the last thing I wanted to touch on is their emphasis on wellness visits. They really seem to believe in their potential.
Oh, absolutely. They're a gold mine for steady income and obviously essential for keeping pets healthy.
And they're big on encouraging forward booking for these visits, claiming it drastically increases compliance with all those recommendations you give. And it makes sense. If it's already in my calendar, I'm way more likely to show up.
Exactly. Plus, those wellness visits are prime time for building relationships. You can connect with the owners, address any concerns, and often catch potential issues early on, which benefits everyone in the long run.
We've covered a lot today. Any big takeaways for you?
It's like I said at the beginning, it's about the bigger picture. You can't just focus on one thing in isolation. It's about looking at pricing, efficiency, inventory. All these interconnected pieces work together for a truly profitable and sustainable practice.
Well said. Now, here's something to ponder for our listeners. The guide we looked at today didn't really touch upon marketing or, client retention strategies. Could
Mhm.
those be the untapped areas that boost profitability even further? Something to think about.